Hello and welcome to this session. This is going to be a complete step-by-step demo from scratch on how to use Zephyr in Jira. This is going to be very easy and very interesting, and I will tell you everything from scratch. So I suggest that you do not miss any part of this video. So let's get started and let us see a demo on how to use Zephyr for Jira. So the first thing is we will go to our Jira account and install Zephyr and then enable this app in our Jira account. So I'm already logged into my Jira. You can also log into your Jira account and then you can go to apps. So I can go from here apps and you can find explore more apps here. So go here. So this will take you to the Atlassian marketplace. Now here you can search for Zephyr. So I will say Zephyr here and you can see Zephyr scale is what we will need. So you can search and you will see all the matching results here. So we have Zephyr scale for test management for Jira. We have Zephyr squared. This is also test management for Jira. And then we have Zephyr Jira integration, Zephyr enterprise. Then you can find more options here. Now we will go here, Zephyr scale test management for Jira, and click on this one. And this will take you to the page of this plugin or app, and here you can see options. You can see all the features, how to use it, and other features of this app. And here you can check this try it for free. So I will click it try for free for now, and then here it will give you some more details. You can check all the details here and then click on start free trial. So this will add Zephyr to our Jira account. So let's wait and let's see. And you can see here I have got a message, Zephyr scale test management for Jira installed successfully. So now you can go from manage app here, or let's go back to our Jira account and then you can go to any of the projects. So let's say I will go to this project that we created in an earlier session, and now you can see we have got Zephyr scale here. So you can go here, Zephyr scale. Now here you can see some documentation links are here, and here it is also saying we would like to show you in-app notification about Zephyr scale with news and new releases. You can check this. Now here you can see a message here. It says Zephyr scale is currently disabled for this project. So click here to enable. You can click here to enable it, or you can go to your project settings from here. So here we have our project settings, and here you will find Zephyr scale. Go here and here you can enable this app, and then you can also see more details like the issue types. So if you want, you can enable or disable Zephyr for some particular issue types. As of now it is enabled for everything. You can also see permissions are here. If you want to add any permissions or add any access limitations to your project for any of these test cycles, test plans, we will see all of this in a moment. For all these, what does this means when we go to the test cases in Zephyr. But just in case you want to add any permission for any particular access limitations, you can do that. For now we will keep it as it is. And now let us go back. You can open the application from here, the Zephyr application. So this will open the Zephyr page, Zephyr scale you can see here, or you can also just go back to your project and click on Zephyr scale. It will open the Zephyr application, and now here you can see we have got our Zephyr page. So we have done step number 1. Now step number 2 is we will go to the test cases section and click on new test case. Now as we create the test case and manage the test cases, we will see all the options. I'm not giving you a separate GUI tour because as we will work with all the features and all the options, you will get to know everything that we have here. So including test cases, test cycles, test plans, reports and folders, and everything that we have to do, reporting options, and all the things and all the features you will get to know in a moment. So let us now start by creating a new test. So here I will click on new test case, and now here I will give a test case name. So let's say the test I want to add here is, I will say test login is successful with valid credentials. Okay, so here you can give some objective test login functionality for valid username and password. And here you can also use tables if you want to see a tabular view, or if you want to attach or insert any link. All these options are here. You can also insert images, so all that you can do here. A precondition is user must have an account, so you can also add preconditions like this. And then we have the statuses, like what status do you want to create it in. And then we have priority. Now if you want to configure any of these fields, you can go to the configurations. From here you can see there's configuration here. I will tell you about configuration in a moment. Let me very quickly first create a test case. You can also, if you have option to add the estimated runtime, you can do it here in hours and minutes. For example, I will say this should run for, the estimated runtime for this test is 10 minutes. If you have any folders, you can add this in a folder. I will tell you this in a moment. For now I will just create it. You can also go to create and edit, but for now I will create it and will show you the details in a moment. So this creates our very first test case. You can see it gives it a key, and then this is our test case created. Now let me go to configurations and show you what all you can do here. I will go to configuration, and here you can see we have environment. Here you can set labels or iterations, priorities. So here we have already seen in the priority field we had these priorities. Just in case you want to add more priorities, you can add it here. So I will say priority is critical or something, and I can add like this, and you can see it has come here. You can also give some colors to this priority. And similarly, if you want to add any data sets, you can add data set. I will say my data set 1. I will click on add, and you can see it is added here. You can add some options here if you want to add. Similarly, you can see the test cases, statuses for test cases, statuses for test plans, test cycles, test executions. So if you want to add, you can add more statuses or update any statuses here. So let's say if I go to test cases, I want to add a test case status called in progress, and I will add it, and it will come here, and then I can give some color as well to this status. Similarly, custom fields for test cases. If you want to add any custom field, you can add it here. You can give the field name and select the field type, whether it is a checkbox or a date picker or a text field, and then add it. And the same things you can do with test plan, test cycles, test steps, test execution, etc. So once you have added all these configurations, you can go back. And now if I create a new test case, if I go to priority, you can see, or if I go to statuses, you can see in progress status has come here. So this is something that I just added. So this is how you can create a test case. Okay, let me create another test case. I will say login fails with invalid credentials. I will say check login functionality with incorrect username or password. Okay, and I will just create it. Okay, now you can see the test cases here. I can click on any of the test case and go to the details of the test case. So it will take me to the details of the test case, and here you can see the name, objective, precondition, and all the details that we have already set. Now you can also see the test script here. So this is where we will add our test script. Now here we can add here our test steps manually, which will be very useful for manual testing. And then we can also create automated test if there is a feasibility to create automated test for that particular test steps. So let us see, first we will create a manual test and then we will see how to automate that test. So here you can see we can create a test either using plain text format or step by step or BDD Gherkin. So generally step by step will be the a very good option. It will give you clear steps what to do step by step, and in case you are using BDD you can use this. So BDD is, you have to use something like keywords, Gherkin keywords like given, when, and then. So given is like a precondition, or something like user has an account when user navigates to login page and enters valid username and password and clicks on login button, then user is navigated to the home page. So this is what we do in BDD Gherkin. So it is like in plain English, using these given, when, and then keywords, we create our scenario or the test case and then we run it. Okay, so the advantage here is it is readable by everyone, even the business teams, developer teams, testing teams, and it gives a very good readability and the teams can communicate well with each other. So this is one option. Just in case you want more details and if you are using BDD, you can click this link and get more help here. But we are not using BDD for now. I will go with step by step. So here we will create the steps for this test case. So let us create the first step. I will say user, or I will say navigate to the login page, and you can give some link as well if you want to. This is a login page. If you have any test data, you can add the test data here. We can also add tabular view of the test data and then the expected result. So expected result is login page appears, and then you can press tab to create the next step. So press tab on your keyboard and here I will say enter valid username and password. Here you can give the data if you want to. I can also create table like this. I will say username is admin, password is admin123, and then here I will say credentials are added. Then again press tab to create a new step and I will say click on login button, and here the expected result is user is navigated to the home page. Okay, so this is how we can create our test, and then you can also see here is some test data or parameters if you want to use. So if I go to a test data, I can add test data. For now I will save this, click on the save button, and we have got a test case created which can be used for manual testing. So here we can use it for manual testing, and here we have already seen step number 3. We have added the details and we have already seen the configuration options to customize things, and we have saved the test. So we have done until step number 5 for now. Okay, now let us see all these options. So we have seen the test script and we will see the automation part in a moment. Let us go to execution. So as of now there are no executions. When we execute this test case, we will have executions here. Traceability is, if we want to link this test to a requirement or to a issue, we can use this traceability, and this will also be very helpful to check that if this test case is added to any issue, what is the status, what is the progress. So let us see how to do that. I will go to any issues. I will go to my board, and let us say I go to this issue. I'll just say I'll go to this issue Now this is not a valid issue for this particular test case, but we just want to see how we can add this. So now here, if you already see an option to add a test case from Zephyr, you can check that. Otherwise, you can see here is a apps, and then I will say Zephyr scale. So you can see Zephyr scale comes here, and then we have an option here to create a new test case for this issue or add an existing one. So we can link the test case to this issue. So I will say add existing one, and it will show you the test cases that we have. So you can see here, you can see the test cases, and let me see, we have here this test case. Let me see the view. Let me close this and open it again. Add existing one. I will open this issue again, and I'll go to add existing one, and I will select a test case from here. Okay. The window should be a little bigger. I don't know why it is not showing in a full window, but that's fine. We have added the test case. Test login is successful with valid credentials. Now, if I go to my test case, so let me just select the project and go to my Zephyr scale and go to this test case. And now I will go to traceability, and you can now see it is now linked to this particular issue, and this issue is in progress. And then you can directly open the issue from here as well. Then if you have any attachments, you can go to the attachments section, and if you want to add any attachments or files, you can add that. If you want to add any comments, you can add the comments. The history will be shown here about this test. All that will be shown here. So I'll go back, I'll save, and here we have got our test. Okay. Now I will go to the test script, and let us see how can we automate this test. So I will go to the test script section, and I will now click on run automated test. So click here, and here you can see we get this test, and we get an option to give a starting URL. So if it is a browser test, you can actually record and then create an automated test. So for this, let me go to some demo website. I will say Orange HRM demo, and let us see if we can use this. So you can use some demo website. So yes, I can use this. Here we have username, password, and this is the username and password I can use for login. So this is the link I will use here, and you can see this is desktop. You can also select mobile or tablet, and then we have browser. So for now, so first we will use the Chrome browser, which is the only option, and then I will also show you how you can use other browsers. So click on run test. Now this is the first time, so we will actually record our test. So it will connect to Zephyr. So this is reflect, and you can see here we have got our test, and it also says that Reflect AI has proposed 4 improvements. You can see here it says the current test case is going to this particular link, but here we are using some other link, and all these things it will tell you. I will just for now say you can check this. I will say approve and run. And here you will see it is initializing our test run and starting the browser, and you can also see the steps here. Now here what I can do is I can actually I can go back. So I will exit from here. I will exit from here. I will go back to my Zephyr and go to the test cases. So let's say I want to create a test using automation. I'll create a new test. I will name it test login functionality. I will say check login is successful with valid credentials. Okay, user has an account. I will say this is in progress status. You can add more details and click on create. So it has come here, test login functionality. I will go to this test and I will directly go to test script, and I will, without adding any manual steps, I will just click on run automated test. Okay, and here I will give the URL of the application and click on run test. Okay, now here, okay, so you can see here we have got the page here ready. Now here we are going to actually record our test and that will create our test. So you can see we have got the login page, and now I will click on username. So as I will do the steps, it will get recorded here. So I will add username, which is admin, password, which is admin123, click on login button, and then here on the home page I'll just go to this user profile and click on logout, and that's it. I will now save. You can also add additional steps, and I'll for now save it. So you can say confirm test update. I will update the test, and we have got the test created. So you can also see all the details here, and here I can go to any of the step, and you can create a segment, replace the segment, delete the step. You can do all these things. You can also check this. Okay, so all this you can check here. So for every step you can see the details. So when you click on the step, you can see the details here. For example, you can see the selectors used. In case you want to change it, you can see all the selectors which were there and what is used, you can also see. And then here you can see we have AI assistant, which finds the element that matches the test steps description. So you can see the details here, and scroll into view. This is automatically scroll to element. Input text is admin. If you want to change it from here, you can change it. We can also add functions or use variables or parameters here. Then we can also see step timeout. If you want to add some timeout for this step, that this step should time out or should fail after this particular seconds, or this is the timeout for this step. You can check that. Failure mode, if you want to fail the test immediately for this particular step, you can do that. Or if you want to keep the test running in even if this step fails, you can check all this here. And delete step is also here, and when you check on this step, you can see all these details. Create segment, replace segment, delete step. So all this you can check from here, and once you have done everything, you can save it. Now here you can also see we have option to copy the test or delete the test, and then here we have option to run the test. Now here if you select the run the test live, that means you want to run and also see the test live, you can go here and it will run on the browser that you have used. So I will say run test and let us see. So you can see this is in progress. You can also click on watch live, or it will directly navigate to you to this page where you can see. So it is initializing virtual machine on the cloud, and then will show you your execution. Okay. So this was very fast. I will go back. You can also, I'll say back to runs. So you can see these are the runs. Okay, and I'll go to the tests now. So this is my test, and here again you can say run test. Now when you select run test in background, so here we get option to use other browsers as well. So we have already seen Chrome, but if you want to use Firefox, Safari or Edge, you can get that, and you will have to request access for that. So you can request access and then run it, and then this will run in the background. So you can also see, we can use public cloud or private cloud as well. I will say you can see advanced option if you want to configure anything, and then if you want to run in background you can say run test, and this will run in background, so you can work on your system. It will not disturb you. You can just keep it running. Still, if you want, you can say watch live, and then you can check it. Okay, so it will set up the virtual machine, set up the browser, and then run the test. We also have options to pause execution from here, so you can see it will run in the background. Okay, and here you can check everything, and then if you go to, these are the tests, you can see all your tests here. Then you can go to suites. If you create any suite, you can add multiple tests. So let us say I create a suite, I will say test suite 1, and if I want I can add tests to this suite. So I can go here and add it. For now I will go to runs, and you can see all your runs. So here you can see the runs, and then if you want you can also check the results. So if I go here, view results, it will take me to the result of that particular execution, and it will show you a recording of your test run. So you can see the recording. You can also, if you want, you can change the speed from here, and then you can also go to a particular step and see it. Okay, now you can rerun from here, or you can also create a issue for this particular test. So if you go to issue, you can actually select your project and then select a issue type and create a new issue linked to this particular run and for this particular test. So that also you can directly do from here. Okay, so this is how you can use it. All right, so now I will go back to my Zephyr scale, and we have got all these tests. So you can see here also, if I want to add this test as well in the issue, I will go to my project, and let's say here I will add this test as well. I will say, I'll go here and say add existing test case, and here I can add this test. So you can see it is also added here. Okay, so we have seen how to run automated tests, and if I now go to this test, if I check this test here, click on this test, you can see here, if I go to test script, you can see this is now a recorded test here. So we have all these steps recorded, and you can also want, if you want, you can run it manually, or you can run it as a automated test. Okay, and if I see the history, you can see all the history, comments, attachments. If I go to traceability, you can check that it is linked to this particular requirement or issue. If I go to executions, you can see the executions here, and everything is here. Okay, so I'll just save it. Okay, and you can always go to test script, and you can run the test from here as well. Okay, so if I click run test, it will start the execution of this test. All right, so we have seen this we have seen how to create and run automated tests. We have also seen how we can run live or run in background, and then when we run in background we can also select the browsers that we want to run, and then how can we link and see all the details. Okay, we have already seen how can we update and view the results and add to a test suite. So here if I go back to my Zephyr, here you can find there is a option for reports. You can go to reports from here, and then you can see there are different reports. So all reports, only test execution reports, traceability reports. You can also see it from here. These are all the categories. So let's say I will go to test execution, and you can see test execution results, and I can click, and then I can select the project, and if you want to add any filters, execution date range, etc., you can check that and then click on generate. We can also save this template, and as of now it shows no results. So once we have some data, it will show you the data here. Okay, so you can check like this. Okay, so you have to see the project. Let me see, create to-do list, it is already there. If you find the project here, yeah, this is the one, and you can select here by test case or cycle or plan. I will tell you about this in a moment. And similarly you can add all the options, and then we can generate reports. So I'll just save the template. I will say my execution report, and then next time when you want to see this report, you can directly choose from the saved templates from here. Okay, now we have already checked the reports tab. Now let us see. So these are the steps that you can do for adding Zephyr and then creating test and running test and checking all the details. Now let us see some more settings. So we can also import or export our tests. So here if you go to this, here we have more options to import the test or export the test. So let's say if I select some test, I can go here and export it to XML, Excel, or even if it is a BDD feature file, we can do that. And if you want to import from a file like an Excel CSV file or a XML file, we can also do that. So let's say I will select this test, and then I will go to more, and I will say, let's say export to Excel, and it will export it in an Excel. Now make sure that it is not blocked by your browser. There will be a pop-up coming. It should not be blocked by your browser, and save it, and you can see it is getting downloaded, and you can then open it and see. So here is our test exported in the Excel file, and similarly you can also export in other formats. And then if you want, you can import from a file. So you can say import from Excel CSV or Zephyr scale, and then here you can choose the file. So you can choose your Excel CSV or other files. So here for now you can see, if you want to import Excel, you will have to export your file to CSV, and then you can add it here. So this is also, so it can be very handy because a lot of teams may be having their test cases written in Excel or CSV format, and they want to add or export all their test cases here. So this can be very handy for them. You can directly use your files and add your tests in Zephyr. Okay, so you can do that. Then we can also organize our tests in folders. You can see we can create new folder here. I will say these are my login tests, and then you can here move like this, just drag and drop, select and drag and drop, or you can also here see the options. You can do it one by one, or you can just select everything and then drag and drop it to this folder. So you can see now all these test cases are in this folder. So it can be good for organizing. So if you have different categories, different pages or something you want to organize your test cases with, you can create folders like this. Okay, then we have test cycle. So in case you want to group your tests into some uh, particular group for running it for a particular sprint or release, you can create test cycles. So you can see here we have test cycles, and I will click on new test cycle, and I will say test cycle for sprint 1. It can be any uh, reason or requirement that you have, you want to create a test cycle. So you can do that, and you can select all the statuses, what should you have here, and then I will, for now you can also, if you want to select test cycle folder, you can do it like this, and then go to create, and you can see it is created. Now you can go to this test cycle, and here we can add the test cases. So here let me go back and go to the details of this test cycle. So go here, and you should have an option to, okay, let me go here. I'll create a new test cycle. So let me create a new test cycle. I'll say this is new test cycle for demo, and I will say create and edit. So I'll click on create and edit, and here you can go to test cases and then add the test cases. So I can add the test cases that I want to add, and then add them. So now you can run these tests as part of this test cycle. So here we can add the test cases, delete, environment, assign tester. So you can actually assign some tester for this particular cycle, and if you want to add any iterations, you can do that. Save it. We can also see the traceability. If you want to link it to any issues, comments, history, everything is here. And then you can go here, and then if you want, you can run this test cycle. So when you run this, it will run all the tests associated with the cycle, and then you can manage, you can see the details of this test cycle, what got executed, what got pass, fail, everything you can see in the reports as well. Okay, so here I'll go back. Then we can also create test plan to track the testing progress throughout the entire release or version. So we have test plans here. We can create test plans. I will say test plan 1. So if you want to create some test plan based on some requirement and you want to add some test cases there, you can do that. And I will say create and edit. And here again, you can add a test cycle, or you can also link to some existing issues. So we have our test cycles here. I can add our test cycle, and then we can check the details with the test plan as well. Okay, so this is how we can also create test plans. Okay, and then we have already seen how we can link our tests to Jira issues. You can directly link or go to any Jira issue, and then you will have options. So if you don't find Zephyr here, you can also get it from here. And then here we have option to add existing test case, or also create new test case. For this particular issue, we have option to add test cycles and test plan as well. Okay, and then we can add testing dashboards for visually tracking and checking our tests and progress. So you can go to this search button here, and then from here, when you click here, you will have option for boards. So you can go here and then go to boards from here, or when you go to dashboards from here and go to create dashboard, I will say this is my testing dashboard, and you can save it. And then you can add gadgets for Zephyr. So if you search for gadgets here and search for Zephyr, you can see Zephyr scale test execution. I will add this. Then we have Zephyr scale test execution, burn up, burn down. I will add this. You can add all the gadgets that you want and need. And then here, once you have added, you can select the project. So let's say I will select this project. You can give some description. I will say demo 1. You can give some meaningful names. As of now, I am just adding something for this demo. And then similarly, you can see here, add the project. You can add start and date settings, all that you can do. And then it will show you the details, charts, or whatever is there. You can check that. And you can actually see the fire dashboards gadgets. And if you go to images, you can see this is how this will look like. So you can see all these gadgets. This is how it will look like, and you can check the progress and see everything visually using the dashboards. Okay, and then we have already seen traceability. You can track test cases and associate it with which requirements and issues. So if I go back and go to any of the test cases and go to traceability, if you have linked it to some requirement or issue, you can check, and then you can also see the status here. Okay, so this can be very handy, and this is how you can use Zephyr with Jira. I hope this was very useful. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.